If you're between 36 and 55, you're likely juggling a mortgage, kids' education, aging parents, and your own retirement. The stakes feel high, and the stock market can seem like one more source of stress. But what if your investments became the calm, steady part of your financial life, not the scary one? Over the last 100 years, despite wars, crashes, and headlines, a diversified stock portfolio has delivered roughly 7–10% per year before inflation. That slow, persistent compounding is how ordinary families quietly cross from worry to security. In this video, I'll walk with you, step by step, through building a sensible, long-term portfolio without hype, day trading, or complicated jargon. By the end, you'll see how to invest with clarity and confidence, even if you're starting later than you hoped. Let's begin by confronting the fears that hold many people back. We just acknowledged the fear: crashes, recessions, bad news. Now let's zoom out. This line you see is a broad U.S. stock index over many decades. Notice the pattern: sharp drops, yes, but also consistent recoveries and new highs. If you had invested before the 1987 crash, the dot-com bust, or 2008, staying diversified and patient still rewarded you over a 10–15-year window. That perspective matters when you're 40, 45, 50. You may have 20–30 investing years ahead, plus retirement itself. The real danger isn't short-term volatility. It's sitting in cash while inflation quietly erodes your savings at 2–3% a year. In the next shot, I'll demystify a simple concept: what a portfolio actually is, so this no longer feels abstract or intimidating. We ended with a promise to remove the mystery. Think of your portfolio like your monthly budget, but for your future. On the table, you have envelopes: living costs, savings, fun. A portfolio is the same idea, just with asset types instead of bills. You might hold stocks for growth, bonds for stability, and cash for short-term needs. Nothing exotic. When you hear portfolio, don't picture a trader with 8 screens. Picture your family's long-term plan divided into purposeful buckets. Historically, stocks drive most growth, bonds reduce the ride's bumpiness, and cash covers near-term expenses so you're never forced to sell at the worst moment. In the next shot, we'll break down these core building blocks one by one, so you can see what role each plays in your life. We've laid out the envelopes. Now let's see what's inside. Stocks are ownership in businesses. When companies grow earnings, you share in that growth. Over the last century, broad stock markets have returned around 9–10% annually before inflation. Bonds are loans to governments or companies. Historically, they've returned closer to 4–5% with less volatility. Cash savings accounts, money markets, offers safety and flexibility, but often just 1–2% over time, sometimes below inflation. None is good or bad in isolation. Each has a job. Your job is to decide the mix based on your age, obligations, and sleep-at-night factor. In our next shot, we'll show why blending these pieces, rather than betting on just one, has historically reduced risk without sacrificing long-term growth. We just saw each building block's role. Now, diversification is how you make them work together. Imagine your income coming from just one client: stressful. Multiple clients? Safer. A portfolio is similar. When stocks stumble, bonds often hold up or even rise. International markets may outperform when your home market lags. Real estate can generate income and behave differently than tech stocks. From 1990 to 2020, a balanced mix of global stocks and bonds delivered solid returns with noticeably less volatility than stocks alone. Diversification doesn't eliminate risk. It smooths the ride and reduces the chance that one bad bet derails your future. In the next shot, I'll show you how to translate this idea into asset allocation that fits where you are in life, especially in your 40s and 50s. We ended on the power of mixing assets. Now let's shape that mix around you. Asset allocation is simply what percentage in stocks, bonds, and cash. For many investors 36–45 with 20+ years to retirement, a common framework might be 70–85% in diversified stocks, 15–30% in bonds. From 45–55, you might gradually shift to 60–75% stocks, 25–40% bonds and cash, especially as college costs or mortgage timelines approach. These are not rigid rules, they're starting points. The key is matching your portfolio's risk to your real life, job stability, emergency savings, health, and your emotional tolerance for market swings. In our next shot, we'll address that emotional side directly, because your ability to stay invested often matters more than picking the perfect allocation on day one. We just tailored allocations to your stage of life. Now we need to talk about your nerves. Volatility is the emotional tax on higher returns. Markets will drop 10% in a year. sometimes 30–50% in a major crisis. Historically, those large declines have occurred every decade or so, but they've also recovered, often within several years. Your goal is not to avoid every dip. It's to avoid panic selling at the bottom. One way is to hold enough cash and bonds so that a downturn is uncomfortable, not catastrophic. Another is understanding that historically, rolling 15–20-year periods in diversified stock portfolios have rarely been negative. Next, I'll show you a practical tool, dollar cost averaging, that helps you invest steadily without having to time the market at all. We just acknowledged how emotion can derail good plans. Dollar cost averaging helps protect you from your own hesitation. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, which no one can reliably call, you invest a fixed amount on a regular schedule. Every paycheck, every month. When prices are high, your money buys fewer shares. When markets drop, the same amount buys more. Over years, this tends to smooth your purchase price. Historically, staying consistently invested has outperformed jumping in and out based on headlines. For someone 40 or 50, automating contributions to a diversified index fund or ETF inside retirement accounts can quietly build serious wealth. Next, we'll walk through common mistakes that sabotage otherwise solid strategies so you can sidestep them with calm confidence. We've built strong habits with diversification and steady investing. Now, protect that by avoiding a few costly traps. First, chasing hot tips or this year's top stock. Studies repeatedly show most active traders underperform simple index funds after fees and taxes. Second, panic selling in downturns. Selling a broad, diversified portfolio after a 30% drop turns temporary declines into permanent losses. Third, leaving large sums in idle cash for years. With 3% inflation, $100,000 loses about $26,000 of purchasing power over 10 years. Fourth, overconcentrating in your employer's stock. If your job and investments depend on one company, risk doubles. In the next shot, I'll bring this together with a few realistic sample portfolios tailored to someone in their 40s and 50s, so you can visualize what a disciplined plan looks like. After seeing what to avoid, let's look at what to do. Here are 3 simple, diversified models, not prescriptions, but clear starting points. Builder for early mid-40s. 80% global stocks via low-cost index funds, 20% high-quality bonds. Historically, a mix like this has returned around 6–8% after inflation over long periods. Balancer, late 40s. 70% stocks, 25% bonds, 5% cash to cover 12 months of expenses. Defender, 50s. 60% stocks, 35% bonds, 5% cash, dialing down volatility as retirement nears. Each includes U.S. and international exposure, broad sectors, and avoids concentrated bets. The key insight: disciplined, boring diversification often outperforms complex, emotional tinkering. In the next shot, we'll stress test these portfolios through market storms, so you can see how staying the course actually plays out. We just built 3 sample portfolios. Now let's walk them through real storms. During 2008–2009, global stocks fell over 50% at the worst point. An 80–20 builder portfolio likely dropped sharply, but investors who stayed invested saw recovery within several years and meaningful gains over the following decade. The 60–40 style Defender portfolio would have fallen less and also recovered steadily. In 2020, markets crashed and then rebounded to new highs within months. History doesn't repeat perfectly, but the pattern is clear. Diversified portfolios plus time have rewarded patience far more often than panic. Your edge is not prediction, it's discipline. In our final shot, I'll distill this into a simple 3-step plan you can start implementing this month, tailored to your reality. We've taken your portfolio through storms and recoveries. Now it's your turn to move from intention to action. 3 steps. 1. Define your goals and timeframes. When do you want work to be optional? What big expenses lie ahead? Write them down. 2. Choose a simple, diversified allocation, builder, balancer, or defender style using low-cost index funds or ETFs across retirement and brokerage accounts. Avoid complexity you can't calmly explain at your kitchen table. 3. Automate. Set scheduled contributions, rebalance once a year, and commit to staying invested through noise, adjusting only as your life, not headlines, changes. You do not need to be perfect, you need to be consistent. If this helped clarify your path, subscribe to Smart Investing. Together, we'll keep turning uncertainty into informed, steady progress.